Welcome everybody to the morning. Excuse me, to the. See, I told you I was out my game. Welcome to You Can't Make This Shit Up. Joel's like sleeping over here. Listen, we said the second. We get to a second morning constitution. Oh, guys, this is You Can't Make This Shit Up. I've just done it. Like I just hyped up the wrong show. You Can't Make This Shit Up is hosted by David Washington. I'm Joel Hawksley.
Hey, Joel.
And we are here at the Oxford. And I was so distracted because we have people coming in to eat now and people are everywhere. So
it's that 11
you can see where my
hour.
mind was.
Yes.
And we're at the Oxford. It's the Sports Pub and Secret Society. The secret sauces are phenomenal.
Oh, yes.
The menu is incredible.
The food is
and
good.
We're going to be talking about the Army today.
That's right. Yes.
Not the U.S. Army, the DeSantis Army.
Yes. The DeSantis Army. Well, it's actually the, what's his slogan? Never going back or not giving up, or it's his pack.
Right.
And it'll come to mind in a minute. That was created. His super
Make America Florida.
Not that one. Not that one. Never give up.
Never give up.
Yes. His super PAC is preparing a massive 18-state field operation where there are paid canvassers that are being trained at this moment to go door to door, informing people about the election, the importance of registering to vote, the importance of voting Republican, and more importantly, during the primary season, voting for Ron DeSantis as their nominee for the Republican presidential ticket.
Cool, David. I'm looking up the PAC because I want to call them and see if we can get some employment.
Hey, I was thinking the same thing when I was reading the article, and I was impressed because, well, first of all, I was impressed because when the governor announced his campaign on Twitter, I was unimpressed.
Oh, you said it was a disaster.
I was done. I was done with the campaign. I was just done. And I vowed to myself, I'm not really going to talk about the DeSantis campaign because I pretty much have said that Donald Trump will be the nominee for the Republican side, based on just what I see, knowledge, experience. But then I read this, and field operations is so important to me. This is where I started my political career 30 odd years ago in field operations, and to read the massive investment that this super PAC is making in field operations for the DeSantis campaign, it touched my heart. So much respect for that. So much respect.
Yeah. I looked over the brief on this one and I was very impressed. This is why Donald Trump, he sued he put the lawsuit forward to kind of like say, hey, he's actually campaigning, he's actually doing this because all this money grows into the super PAC, and
right,
you're a millionaire. The more money he raises, the more you have to spend, and you're defending yourself from lawsuits. And don't worry about that because you raised the money. But I don't think it's a done deal. Again, I lean towards at some point, both of us are going to have to deal with the fact that these are older gentlemen.
Yes.
That this would be the
we
oldest.
Have to be honest about that.
This would be the oldest we've ever had.
Yes.
And it's going to put a stress on some of the voters. You look at, I have a Trump-like DeSantis, and he's got an army out there doing the things he's supposed to do.
Right.
Like, this is hey, if it's going to be spent, if the money's going to be spent this way instead of those freaking advertisements that drive you crazy, this is where the money is worth
Right.
everything.
And when we're talking about money, we're talking about $100 million, $100 million invested by the here it is, the Never Back Down Super PAC.
I love the name,
Yeah.
Never Back Down, because it's like
$100 million
David,
invested in field operations over 18 states.
Again, let me look. I'm gonna, you might lose your card, but I think there's a company called Door to Door I-4. Okay, if you're the pack leader, think about it. We can cover a lot of ground in Central Florida.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
I'm sorry, Dave. We do such a great job. We do such a great job with things. You would have to be miserable because we'd be helping the Santa. We know we'd win.
Oh,
We'd win on the door knocking.
Oh, yes.
We'd win in the communication. What they're saying is they want to go meet the voter.
yes, they do.
Nobody does that anymore, except when they go up to New Hampshire and they go to Iowa,
Yeah.
and a little bit in South Carolina.
Right.
Like,
But this is an 18-state strategy in the primary, and the PAC believes that it has the advantage because it's already has about 2,800 volunteers out there already, knocking on doors, sharing information. They call their training office Fort Benning after the Confederate.
yeah, but see, Fort Benning is not going to be Fort Benning anymore. So I mean, they're changing all these names.
Exactly.
Like,
But
it's okay. I think that
And again, I have to show respect, for the strategy and being in field operations and having that as part of my expertise. I understand that the best way to meet your voters, your targeted voters, are where your targeted voters are, at their front door and in front of their devices.
So something that I thought was very, very interesting about this topic was that the students are being coached specifically about DeSantis having the same fire as Donald Trump.
Yes.
You can't deny that. He
Right.
has that same fire, but he has a better track record. They're actually going to put his track record up against what the Trumpers believe was the best presidency until COVID, right? But you get DeSantis from beginning to end.
Yes.
No matter what, this is the only you can talk about his his private part sizes. You can do all these things, but you can't go against his record. Like, these name calling will not work.
No,
it's not going to work with him.
No.
He was a JAG lawyer. He's gutsy enough to have asked for the endorsement of Trump. He won this thing by coming from behind, getting the extra votes from Trump. Look, Trump doesn't want to know it, but he was used.
And the canvassers are going to be trained on what to say. The literature is going to have the right messaging to talk about the accomplishments of the governor. And when you make an investment, you're paying your canvassers $20 to $22 an hour. You're housing them. You're giving them cars. You're giving them iPads. This is a professional. And for all the candidates out there, understand this. This is a professional production here.
And you did it early. You got the money, and you've already said,
"Thank you.
This is what we're going to do." Trump has to worry about this.
I would be concerned.
This is not Hollywood. This is not Hollywood fame type stuff. This is, my goodness, somebody came to my door specifically to introduce this young man, DeSantis. And I think that's going to be the biggest focus from all these candidates. Young. I'm sorry, but I love my dad, but I'm not trusting my dad to take over as president of the United States, because I feel I might lose him sometime soon. I don't want to have to look at the vice president and go, what are the credentials of the vice president? Because
Right.
right now, I'd be scared to death of what we have for me, Kamala is a nightmare. For me, not for, but you guys in the Democrat Party haven't been 100% behind her. She's made some really.
I've got no qualms against Kamala. She's the vice president. She is told what to do. She has her role. She has her agenda, and it hasn't interfered with the agenda of President Biden.
And she couldn't go to the border because she hadn't gone to Europe either. I mean, she's like, come on, guys. Like, you want I've never been to Europe. Well, you've been to Europe now because you became the vice president. When you were a senator, you didn't go to Europe? Well, I don't know where you were going. You had those opportunities. What, you rather go to California? This is the chameleon. This is the chameleon. She couldn't be in front of one audience and have the same message. So she couldn't win the presidency. And then she gets plucked out as the vice president. I mean, come on.
Choices were made for certain reasons. But going back to the governor and the former president, some of the knocks against the governor and his investment in the canvassers is that, well, regardless of who you have out there, regardless of your messaging, you're moving to the right of Trump, and so far to the right that you're alienating people within your own party, and definitely people who are independents and Democrats who may be looking differently. If you're moving that far to the right, regardless of how many people you have on the street knocking on doors, you can't out Trump.
You can't.
That's just one of the knocks. That's just one of the knocks.
You can't out Trump because
by going more extreme.
All you have to do is get under his skin. No, you don't even have to go there.
And look, I guess this is good for. I guess this is good for the Republican nomination, but on a grander scale, going so far to the right is not going to get you the presidency.
I don't think he's going any further.
We both agree. We both agree with that.
Listen, he doesn't have to go any further if he's going to stick with his record. He's going to stick with his. He's already gone to the right. He's already done things that have gotten people going, scratching their head. The news media can't stand him, so he's right in the Republican alley for president. Because the more the media hates you, I mean, listen, I have some candidates out there. I love them. I mean, I love Tim Scott. I love Nikki Haley,
right.
But the media doesn't hate them. They like their story. So they don't have a chance, snowball's chance in hell of getting elected because the media likes them. And my God, if the media likes you and you're a Republican, you can step aside on that one. No, boy. I think he can trump, but I don't think this primary brings Trump any further to the right. And I think the one thing that will galvanize people that like Trump but don't like Trump's attitude, his actions, those people that don't like what he says, cringe and hate the fact that I'm a Republican because the president said something wildly insane. That's okay. You now have a choice. This guy hasn't done that. He hasn't done that yet. Oh, he might, but I don't think he's a JAG lawyer.
Right.
So he's been in the service. He knows how to be organized. Yeah, this is politics. I think he's got it.
Going back to never back down, and just the structure and what they're doing, and educating their canvassers on what to say, how to say it, how to approach voters. Again, this is a professional shop. I mean, I'm just so impressed. I am impressed because it's something that we have done, with door-to-door I-4, that we put an investment in the canvassers so that they can do their job better than the competition. And again, I don't know how effective this will be. I know that the never back down. Wait. I know that the never back down canvassers need to educate the voters in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, Michigan, and so forth and so on, because a lot of people do not know enough of the governor. But again, with $100 million investment in field operations, they're going to find out very quickly.
So, David, you misspoke. You did a little misspoke, right there.
Which part?
You said you don't know how this is going to end up. You do know how this is going to end up because this works. This is what that's why I said you misspoke, because this works. There's nobody.
Giving away the secret sauce there.
When people go, well, Joel, he works for the Democrat. Oh, Joel, like he's this and that. It's like, wait a minute. You've worked with Republicans. You've worked with Republicans
Right.
because the Republicans knew what worked. So they hired your company to do a canvassing job.
Right.
So that's part of the Jay in Washington brand.
Correct.
We're going to put our efforts behind the people that want to win. This is a winning strategy.
Yes.
This is something that we would put our reputation on the line.
Agreed.
Because this is the type of thing that you would have said, well, Joel, we have the advantage here with you. Go seek this. And then I could say on other things, I go, David, you have the advantage on this one. This is the right candidate for you to go after. People don't understand that about us, and they don't understand that your candidates don't like me. They don't all like me. They respect the fact that I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to tell them something.
Right.
I mean, I think Rishi Bhagat one time was spot on, because I was sitting there listening to him have a conversation with you, and I'm all expression. So I had this like, huh?
Sure.
You can't say that, because if you say that, Hawkins is going to say this. Like, boom, boom, boom. And he's like, now I'm prepared.
See?
Now I'm prepared, because you know what?
The
I
essence.
didn't think of it that way.
Right there.
And that's what you get.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that did come up recently, and we've had a conversation, and it boggles my mind again that people don't understand that, one, we want to work with the best people representing the best ideas for their community. And if we know that there is a race where it's likely a Republican or a conservative will win that race, or if it's a Democrat or a liberal that will likely win that race, we want the best candidate with that particular party affiliation. What we've learned over time, before J&W, during J&W, is that there are a broad number of great ideas and solutions and problems that need those solutions and those ideas to get rectified. And when you work in your own silo there, you leave out a whole lot of ideas, a whole lot of progress, and really good people.
One of the things that put us together is the fact that we look at so many people doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results.
Thank you.
And it's like, okay, people are transitioning. People are doing things differently. It's not like you're going to, hey, we don't even have kids that want to drive cars half the time.
Right.
Like the young kids not getting their driver's license till 2025. I mean, like, these are things that we, David, would never have thought about, because it was like the car was our getaway. It was our first release in our entire life. This is the first time we were independent. Our bicycle was just get us so far.
That's right.
But I give these young people credit, because they're going to learn something.
Right.
It's an old technique, but it's the one that works, because people don't talk to their neighbors anymore.
That's right.
I have no problem. I walk every day.
Yeah.
Even if it's just to walk from my house to the park, which is like 2 kilometers round trip, which is nothing, I still get to interact with certain neighbors. And I know my liberal neighbors. I know my moderate neighbor. I always talk politics, though. I always let people know. I'll wear it on my show. They say, I'm a Trump fan. I go, well, Trump did a really good job. I understand what is it about Trump that you still like? I ask those questions because I want to know what we're dealing with. So when I knock on the doors, In my neighborhood, because I'm a precinct committee man, hey, I know my neighbors already. And I know which Democrats are going to come my way. And I know which Republicans have said,
That's what it's
F
about.
you. And a lot of them are saying F you to this new establishment type thing that's coming into these parties.
Sure.
You know, Seminole's having its issues. Orange got taken over by, a different group.
Sure.
But their group is organized. This group that took over Secret, every time they say we got to unite, it pushes them further apart because we're so far apart in our beliefs. I believe in, less government. I believe in less taxes. I believe in all these things. But I also believe that when you have a revenue source, you don't abandon it because it's sunshine, because it's sunset or whatever it's called, right?
Right.
Look, if you have a penny tax and it's been helping fund specific projects and roads and bridges that we don't have problems with, that Orange County has problems with. Look, we don't have a perfect county, but Republicans going out of their way to try to prove that they don't want taxes. Why did they want the burden to? Where's the burden going to go to? That's what we got to look at.
They need to take to the streets and knock on their neighbors' doors and find out what their neighbors have to say.
But they don't know what their neighbors are saying. That's what I'm pointing out to you, David. I know what the neighbors are saying. The neighbors are saying they're not afraid of this tax because it's been there. It's not like they're going to notice anything different. If the tax goes down, do you think it's going to make a huge difference on me? Yes, my property tax somewhere along the line is going to go up.
Right.
Because somebody's going to make up that penny.
Right.
So, David, I love this idea. I think that this gives us a good chance to tell our audience, if you're thinking about running for office, always think in advance, be early.
Yes.
This is the reason why.
Yes.
Super PACs and PACs and PCs and all these things
Political
need to be utilized to the best of your ability, because DeSantis can't do anything with this PAC now. He cannot coordinate with this PAC at all.
That's correct. No coordination.
But the direction was given, and they know where they're spending their money. So, David, thank you for this topic. This is a mic drop.
All right.
Share, like, subscribe. We need you to keep us in business.
Keep the comments coming. We enjoy the conversation. We've had an incredible uptick across all our socials as far as subscribers, comments, likes, shares. So please, we appreciate it. Keep it coming, and we thank you.
One more thing. You got to be that last. Come on now. LinkedIn, we're one away from 100, and we want to keep going because it's a new company. So we're just trying to rebuild. So
find our company,
Jay
Jay
in
in Washington, on LinkedIn, and please follow us on LinkedIn. We want to expand our content. So please join us on LinkedIn.